Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview to Everton's Premier League fixture against Aston Villa tomorrow night. Friday night football, 8 o'clock. Oh, what a fantastic thing that is. No, it's not. It's an absolute pain in the arse. Fans have got to travel all the way down to Birmingham. After most of them will finish work 4-5 o'clock and they've got to travel all the way down to Birmingham and get there before 8 o'clock in rush hour traffic as well. Absolutely fantastic by Sky Sports. Once again, brilliant planning of a football match. No, but really, listen, it's not ideal that the game's on a Friday night. There is positives to it, there is negatives to Friday night football. I suppose we'll talk about it positively because we like to be positive on this channel. The positives are it gives us the chance to gain an advantage on everybody else. Now I know what could happen I know what will happen if we win this game in terms obviously of going top of the league. I'm not going to talk too much about that because it is early on in the season, but obviously that's a fantastic thing. I think it just means that we gain an advantage over everybody else. We play before everybody else and we get the chance obviously to gain 3 points before everybody else does, and then enjoy a weekend free of stress. So listen, it's not the worst thing in the world, it's not great, but I suppose it gives us a chance to play before everyone else. We're going to talk about the game today. We're going to give my predicted starting 11 as you can see on the screen now. We're going to go through that. We're also going to talk about Marco Silva's pre-game press conference. Obviously we've done the press conference reaction, which a lot of you liked earlier on today. As you know, most of the days that Marco Silva does his press conferences, I'm actually in work, so I'm unable to do a live reaction. I'm unable to do any coverage on the channel. I do cover the press conference over on Twitter, so if you go and follow our Twitter at MightyBluesYT, I tweet out everything that Marco Silva says and all the important information and stuff, but it's not quite feasible for me to do a video because I'm usually in and around work. But I was off today, so I thought, you know what, I'll do a live reaction. I'll talk about some of the most important things that Marco Silva's discussed, and we'll have a little conversation, and a lot of you seem to like it, so hopefully if we can get something sorted in the future, I'll do a few more of them. But we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about some of the things that Marco Silva went into in that press conference, of course, regarding tomorrow's game. I think just off the bat, listen, this is a game that we should be winning. This is a game that we should be looking at going out there and going, you know what, we expect to leave Villa Park tomorrow night with the 3 points. It's not going to be easy. We have to respect Aston Villa. Marco Silva said that in his press conference today. He said that we need to go there and we need to respect the opponent. Listen, we know that we should have more than enough to beat them in terms of quality. Obviously, they've had a poor start to the season, losing their first 2 games. They've got something to prove in front of their home fans. It's an absolute classic fixture of English football. I believe it's the longest running fixture in English football history, Everton versus Aston Villa. So there's a lot on the line, and like I said, considering we're so early on in the season, obviously this is only our 3rd Premier League game, there is a lot riding on it because we spoke about, before how important it is to get the points on the board, as many as we can up to now, because we've got a lot of hard games coming up in the near future. So these are the games that we should be going and we should be winning. And I said yesterday on live stream, I think it was, that although this is a game that I expect us to win, although this is a game that I think we should be winning, we should be getting the 3 points in, I will be absolutely fantastically made up if we do get the 3 points tomorrow. Some games that you'd expect to win, you sort of come out if you have one and go, well, yeah, I'm happy with the 3 points, but I expected that. Whereas tomorrow I'll be absolutely over the moon if we get the 3 points, because again, it's a tough game against a tough Premier League opponent. A side that give Tottenham a run for the money for the large part of their opening game, obviously, and then just didn't have enough to finish it off. And then, we're caught early on against Bournemouth last week. It's not going to be an easy game of football. Marco Silva is absolutely spot on. We need to respect Aston Villa. And for me, we need to go out there and give it 110% from the off. If we go out there and we put them, under pressure, and we're chasing every single ball down from the first whistle, and we're creating opportunities, and we're at 110% from minute go, then, we could create 2 or 3 opportunities before half time, and if we're clinical, we can put them away, and then that means towards, the back end of the second half, you could have the game won. What we don't want to do is approach this game like we approached the Fulham game last year. Fulham, quite similar to Aston Villa this season, another side that struggled at times. I know we're only a couple of games into it, it'd be unfair to compare them like that to Villa, but spent a lot of money in the summer, and have struggled so far. We went to Fulham last year and I think we sort of just expected, oh yeah, these aren't that good, we'll beat these, we'll walk through these, and we got absolutely turned over. For me, we need to approach this game a little bit like we approached the West Ham game last season. We were in a good run of form. We went over to West Ham's new stadium, we went, you know what, we know that on any given day you could turn us over, you could put in a decent performance, so we're going to give you the ultimate amount of respect and we're going to come out firing from the start. And that's what we done against West Ham, and that's why we won that game. We came out firing, we created opportunities, and we were clinical on that day. Against Fulham, we sat back, we weren't firing, we seemed lazy, we seemed lackadaisical. We can't be like that tomorrow night. We need to be coming out firing, and if we come out firing, then like I said, we're creating 2 or 3 opportunities within the first half an hour and we're 2 or 3 nil up. Absolutely fantastic. It's going to be really tough for Aston Villa to come back from that, especially considering their heads will drop. But we can't sit back and allow Aston Villa to feed themselves into the game. We spoke on Toffee TV. I was on Toffee TV doing the game preview to this with Ped during the week, and we said about how important it is that teams fear Everton, that when we go to away grounds, teams go, oh shit, you know, this will be a tough game. We need to change the stigma around our football club from being, you know what, they're a good side, but we could beat them, to, oh, this is going to be really, really tough. You think of the top teams, the Cities, the dem lots across the park, even still the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, they go away to clubs and the clubs almost feel beaten before the game started. They almost think we're on the back foot. This is going to be a really tough game. Obviously anything can happen in the Premier League, but the clubs think this is going to be a really tough game. We need teams to feel like that when Everton travel. We need teams to go, you know what, we need to be careful here because these could absolutely batter us, and you know, we need to sort of play a little bit more defensively, rather than teams thinking, you know what, we could get 3 points out of this game. And teams might still think we could get 3 points out of this game, and Villa will probably think tomorrow, you know, they can beat us. But what we need to do is go out and show them that respect, not sit back and go, you know what, we'll get a chance in the 60th, 70th minute and we'll win this game, so we'll just spend the first half an hour just, you know, passing it about, a little bit slow, a little bit lackadaisical. Go out, do the business, get the job done early, and then you spend the last 25 minutes to half an hour sitting back a little bit, or maybe not, you know, not going as a offensive if we can afford to, if we're winning that game of football. Don't plan to do that towards the end of the game, because the longer you give Villa the time to settle into the game, the more they're going to settle in and the more they're going to gain confidence and think, well, you know what, we can win this game of football, so why should we be scared of Everton? Why should we be? So we need to go out firing from the start tomorrow night, and there's no excuse to not get the 3 points. I think we've got a better side on paper, although I think Villa are a decent squad. They've spent a lot of money. Their players are still trying to embed into the league, into the team. The players that have come up with them from the Championship are still trying to get used to the Premier League. Even the likes of Jack Grealish, who's played here before, McGinn as well, who 2 really, really good players, are still trying to get used to the league. So we need to go out and get the job done early on tomorrow, and you know, get the 3 points in the bag, because that's what's most important for me. Shabba says, welcome back, Cam. I've got me tinny in the fridge. Thank you very much. Hope you are doing well, Shabba. And welcome back to you as well. Hazrat says, alright Cam, you okay? Alright mate, I'm doing fine, thank you. Hope you are doing well yourself. Shabba says, tinny in the fridge. Yeah, I'm not... Tinny's in the fridge, oh, okay. And Shelby says, hoping for a win. Yes, definitely. Rat says, where's man? Lol, have fun. LCFC boy says, hi, hope you are doing well. Can't think of enough names. Says, we didn't feel beaten against anyone at home. Would you rather top 4 or an FA Cup and mid-table? That's a really, really interesting one. And you know what? I agree. We need to be taking our home form into the away games. Now, you know... Throughout a Premier League season, it's common to have really good home form and, you know, your away form struggle a little bit, or really good away form and your home form struggle a little bit. That's the sort of balance, you know, that you tend to get with a lot of teams in the Premier League. We need to make sure that our away form, if not mirrors our home form, is very, very similar to it. Now, we've been fantastic at home in the opening game of this season against Watford at Goodison Park, and the back end of last season as well. We've been brilliant defensively. Obviously, that defensive stat that we talked about last week, not conceding a goal since the 6th of February at Goodison Park, and we've been fantastic going forward as well. We've been creating opportunities and we've been beating teams and we've been pressuring teams. We need to take that form into our away fixtures as well. I think we won 5 away fixtures last year, which really isn't good enough if we're going to be challenging those top 6 teams. If we're going to be trying to challenge and get into that top 6, we need to be winning more away games. We need to be beating at least 8 to 10 teams away from home a season, and Villa are one of those teams that I fear, if we don't win this game tomorrow, we'll look back at the end of the season and go, let's say we finish 7th, well, why didn't we finish 6th? Well, you know, where are the points we could have picked up? And this will be a game that you look at and you go, you know what, we could have won that game. So for me, there's absolutely no excuse tomorrow afternoon. We've got a better team on paper, in my opinion. we've started the season better. Doesn't mean that it's an easy game. Doesn't mean that we're going to go there and we're going to pick up an easy 3 points, because Villa have got something to prove. They need to start getting points on the board fast as well. They need to start picking themselves up. So in my opinion, it's a 3 points that we definitely should be getting. But like I said at the start, we need to respect our opponent. We need to go out there understanding that on any given day, anything can happen in this league. And if we go heads down, pressure them from the minute, from goal, creating opportunities, trying to get the ball to the feet of the likes of Bernard, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin or Moise Keane or whoever Marco Silva decides to play there, scoring goals, then, if we're 2 or 3-0 up, then you can sort of sit back a little bit and think, well, you know what, we can afford to turn the burners down. But for me, you start at 6th gear, and if you can afford to drop to 5th, 4th, 3rd, yeah, you don't start at 2nd for me, and then think, well, you know what, we'll get opportunities in this game and we'll score them, because that's when you lose football matches, having that mentality. And I don't think Marco Silva has got that mentality. Obviously it seemed a little bit like that against Fulham last year, but in his pre-game press conference, which was literally 3 or 4 hours ago, he sat down and he said it, longer than that, 5 hours ago, he sat down and he said about, how important it is that we respect Aston Villa, how important it is that we go out there and we get the 3 points, but we do it professionally, and we understand that, this isn't a team that are just going to turn over and have their belly tickled by it, and it's really, really not. If you're enjoying the stream so far, please do hit the like button. Will be in a massive, massive, massive amount to me, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I'm just going to tweet today's stream out so everybody knows we are live on Twitter. Let me know what you thought about the press conference reaction as well. If you managed to catch that live, if you've seen it afterwards on the replay, let me know your thoughts on that. Would that be something that you'd be interested in me doing a lot more over the season, reacting to Marco Silva's press conferences? Like I said, it mightn't be feasible every single week, but if it's not a live reaction, I dare say I'll be able to get at least a video out reacting to it and going over some of the key points, because I think I could probably mingle my way out of 10 minutes of work to do that. So let me know your thoughts on that one. Be really, really interesting to hear what you guys have to say about that. Soraya says, love DCL but terrible away from home. Keane or Tosin to start for me. You know what, you've got a good point there. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is, I think, considerably better at Goodison Park. I think he is. I think he gets... He feeds off the crowd, he feeds off his team, and he feeds off the style of play as well. It is a little bit different away from home. We sort of rely a little bit more on his goal scoring than his the other parts of his game that we know he can do so well, and that's why he does fall a little bit short. Marco Silva said today that Moise Keane's been saying and that he's ready if he chooses to pick him. We'll discuss that in just a second. But you've got a point. He's not necessarily as good away from home as he is at Goodison Park, but I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin does offer Everton a lot. I think his overall game is pretty good. Yes, he could do with scoring more goals, obviously, and yes, he's your number 9, he's your striker. You need him to put the ball in the back of the net. There's no excuse for that. And if Moise Keane's fit, and when Moise Keane's fit and he's playing Premier League games often, he'd be the number 1 striker for me. But I just don't know whether he's ready yet. I know Marco Silva said he is, but I don't think he's ready. Maybe not just in terms of fitness, but in terms of fitting into our system as well. But very, very good point. Apollo says DCL doesn't score enough. Can't wait for Keane's first start. You've got to agree with that one. Hazard says yes, definitely got to put the chances away. 100% spot on. We have to be clinical tomorrow. We do, because listen, this is Aston Villa. This is a team that have lost 2 games on the bounce and that haven't had a fantastic start to the Premier League. But at the end of the day, it's the Premier League. There's no guaranteed wins. There's no guaranteed games that you're going to create 10 chances, 15 chances. Look at against Watford. Watford had started the season poorly, absolutely teared to bits by Brighton the week before. We had a couple of opportunities against Watford last week. We only converted one of them. We were only clinical once, and that was the chance that won us the game. Now, I'm not saying we only need to be clinical once against Villa and they won't get an equaliser, obviously not, but we need to be clinical. The opportunities that we're creating, we need to put the ball in the back of the net. There's too many frustrating games last season that seen us create opportunities, especially the games against the top sides, Arsenal away from home, United away from home, where we were creating opportunities but we weren't putting them in the back of the net, and you were all of a sudden sitting there going, if only we'd have scored that. Liverpool at Anfield, Andre Gomez has won off the line. If only that had have gone in, yet he beat us at Anfield, we could have won that game. So I agree 100%, we do need to be clinical. Can't think of a different name. Says DCL's not good enough. Come on, let's smell the coffee. I don't know what your opinion on him is though. Listen, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin offers us a lot. Offers the team a lot. I think he needs to improve his goal scoring. I'm not going to hide away from that. I'm not going to sit here and say, he gets away with the fact he doesn't score a lot of goals because his overall game's good. His overall game is good, but he does need to chip in with more goals, he does. If Dominic Calvert-Lewin is to be consistently in this Everton team, he needs to score 15 goals a season, as does Moise Keane, in my opinion. And, you know, that mightn't happen this season with Keane because he's only just come in. But talking the future, those players need to be hitting those kind of numbers. Dominic Calvert-Lewin needs to improve his goal scoring. He really, really does. However, I think he offers us a lot in terms of how he fits into our system and how he plays as well. He's a big, strong, physical lad. He wins the ball. He can bring the ball down. He can give it. He can go. And I think that's something that we take for granted a lot of times. I think he was actually really, really good against Watford. Yes, he didn't score. Yes, he didn't create a lot of opportunities. But he was freeing the space up for Bernard. He was freeing the space up for Richarlison and Gylfi Sigurdsson a lot of the time by, you know, like I said, taking the ball down and using his strength. But I 100% agree. He needs to improve his goal scoring, and he needs to improve how many goals he gets a season if he is to consistently be in this team. But it's still only early days with 2 games into the season. Dominic Calvert-Lewin could go out tomorrow night and score twice, and this mightn't be a conversation come the game review on Monday night. So who knows? Who knows? Can't think of an Everton name. Says got your GCSE results, but hopefully Everton sorted out for me. Listen, don't worry if you've got your GCSE results today or your A-level results last week. I know it's been results sort of period. Listen, don't worry about it. I didn't get Bosch GCSE results, and all you've got to remember is that it doesn't define who you are. It doesn't define your future. There'll be hundreds, if not thousands, of opportunities for you, doors for you that will open regardless of the results you get. So don't let it get you down too much. You know, you've got a massive long future ahead of you. It doesn't define you as a person, and it doesn't define your future either. Yes, obviously, you know, it's serious, and like the school tell you to take it serious and stuff, but it's not the end of the world. It's really, really not, and it's not, doesn't determine, you know, your future and how successful you're going to be as well. You've seen however many hundreds of thousands of people that are, you know, come out on Twitter every year that are millionaires and that are doing really well for each other, that some of them didn't even go to school, some of them didn't even sit their GCSEs. So hopefully Everton can cheer you up tomorrow, but I wouldn't get yourself too down about those. Hasrat says great news, Digne to play. Yes, 100% spot on. We'll talk about that in a second. James Fitzsimmons says think we need to go there and just put everything at them for half an hour, then slow the game down for the last 15 minutes of both halves. Yeah, and you know what, if we could do that and score 2 goals in the first half an hour of this first half and the second half, and then we can afford to slow it down a little bit towards the end. That's the most important thing for me, is we go 100% at the start, and then if we need to tone it down, we do. But we can't start at 25-50% and then say, well, if we need to tone it up, we will, because by that time, Villa could have put 2 away and our edge could have dropped. So, you know, I agree 100%. Vinny says, just like Bernard grabbing his goal last week, I can see the squad depth really pushing the first team. DCL, Gylfi, etc. This is new territory for us as fans, and we need to have the patience. Come on, you Blues. Spot on, spot on. Apollo says, idea just sparked in my head. What would you think if in January we were linked with Grealish for a Gylfi replacement? I don't think we should be looking to replace Gylfi. I really, really don't. I think Gylfi will have another solid season. I thought he had a fantastic season last season. He hasn't started fantastically, but, you know, it could just be an off game for Gylfi Sigurdsson, a couple of off games. I do think he'll sort of settle into the season, and I do think we'll start to see how good Gylfi Sigurdsson is once again. Would it take Jack Grealish as cover for Gylfi, as a player to improve the squad, as a player to come in if needed? I would, but it all depends how much money Aston Villa had won for him. I think they'd won a lot of money, and it depends whether Brands thinks he's worth it. Ian says, to be honest, Cam, if DCL scores 2 tomorrow, we'll all be talking about it. Exactly, spot on, Ian. And Malcolm says, I think I'd rather have Decore than Grealish, to be honest. I think Decore would be more important in terms of the type of player that we need. However, we do know that Everton are looking at a right winger or a wing player or an attacking player, obviously from the pursuit of Wilfried Zaha in the summer. Can't think of an Everton name. Says my favourite player is Mina, the way he fumed at Pereira and Jerry. Yeah, exactly. He stood up for himself, and he proved to me on Saturday afternoon that he's got those real leadership qualities that we need in a player, especially that we need in a centre half that's commanding that defence, that's commanding that team. He has those leadership qualities, and that's absolutely spot on. And it was brilliant to see, because Pereira was diving constantly, Jerry dived, and he deserved to have someone down the throat saying, you know what, get your arse up, mate, and stop pissing about. And Saraya says, Siggy come good tomorrow, no worries. Let's hope so. I do think he'll definitely come good at some point throughout the season. Hopefully he can hit the ground running tomorrow. If you're enjoying this team, please do leave a like. It means a massive amount to me. Anyway, we're going to talking about Marco Silva's pre-game press conference. I suppose we'll give my predicted starting 11 first. We'll dive straight into that. So, I've pretty much gone with the same predicted starting 11 as the Watford game, I think, and the Villa game, and the the Palace game as well. So I've gone for Jordan Pickford in goal, a back four of Digne at left back, Michael Keane and Yerry Mina at centre half, and Seamus Coleman at right back. I thought Jordan Pickford had another decent game against Watford. He made a really, really good save. Again, only really called upon once, but he was there when we needed him. Very similarly to the game against Crystal Palace the week before. Only really called upon a couple of times, but he was there when we needed him. Digne, absolutely fantastic against Watford. An exquisite ball to set up Bernard for the only goal of the game. Wonderful left back for me, best left back in the league, and that is just my opinion, but honestly that ball on Saturday afternoon was just absolutely quality in my opinion. Seamus Coleman the other side, I thought he played well against Watford. I thought he was good going forward, and I thought defensively as well he was pretty solid. And obviously both centre halves, Michael Keane, Yerry Mina, absolute powerhouses again last Saturday. Expecting another powerhouse performance from those two tomorrow night. Obviously 2 clean sheets in our first 2 opening games, and only really a couple of chances for the opposition teams as well. Only really a couple of times that they were caught out. Genuinely solid for the entirety of the Watford game. You know, obviously in the air, on the floor as well. And then, like we said, Yerry Mina having a little go at opposition players for trying to win fouls that weren't actually fouls as well. So obviously the back four remains, the back five remains. There'd be absolutely no reason as to change it. We were a little bit, obviously, you know, we were unsure about whether Digne would be in the starting 11. Marco Silva has confirmed today that he is fit. He's been saying and that he is fit, so it looks like we were right. It was only a precautionary measure to take him off against Watford. Marco Silva also said that Leighton Baines is fit if we need be. I think it's positive, of course. Listen, I think we all know Digne will start tomorrow. I think we all know Digne will be the starting left back. However, it is positive that Leighton Baines is fit. It means that there's somebody there to come on if need be. It means that we've got that replacement left back if need be. What we were in a situation a couple of days ago where we were thinking, well, we don't know if Digne's fit and we don't know whether Leighton Baines is fit as well. So to have them both back and fully fit is obviously a positive. Marco Silva also talked about Djibril Sidibe, obviously the right back that we brought in from Monaco in the summer. Brought in on loan with an option to buy for around £14 million at the end of the season. Obviously brought in for cover and competition for Seamus Coleman. Haven't seen him yet. A couple of fans, including myself, are wondering whether he was injured or whether, you know, he wasn't quite ready yet. Marco Silva said today that he's fit. He was fit when he was brought in. He had a full pre-season with Monaco, and it's just up to whether Marco Silva decides to start him or to include him in the squad. But he is fit. He's been training with the team, and he's ready when he is needed to be called upon. And I think this is really, really interesting because obviously I understand why Seamus Coleman is playing. I understand why Seamus Coleman is the number 1 right back, because he's the captain of the football club and he's not done anything wrong so far to warrant him being dropped. Regarding Sidibe, I think it's a little bit strange that we haven't seen him at least on the bench. Obviously, I don't think we'll see Sidibe and Leighton Baines on the bench. I don't think we'd see 2 fullbacks, but it is a little bit strange that we haven't seen him on the bench. He's a new signing. He's, you know, a player that fans would get hyped to see. Of course, he's a player that fans want to see, even if it's just off the bench, even if it's just to hear his name called out. So I was a little bit surprised at that, but I suppose good positive news. Marco Silva saying that he is fit and that he's ready if needed. Going into the midfield, of course, I've gone for a midfield 3 of Andre Gomes, Jean-Philippe Gbamin and Gylfi Sigurdsson. Now, I thought Andre Gomes was absolutely fantastic against Watford. Another top performance by him. In regards to Jean-Philippe Gbamin, we spoke about him in the game review. We spoke about him yesterday as well, talking about how obviously Morgan Schneiderlin is back for this game. Marco Silva has confirmed that. Marco Silva has confirmed that Fabian Delph is still out. He is still suffering an injury. He is being training. However, he hasn't been in full training sessions with the first team. They hope he'll be in full training sessions come next week. So, with Morgan Schneiderlin being back, Silva was asked, listen, does Morgan fit back in? Does Jean-Philippe Gbamin continue? He said, the option's there. I've got the option to change the team if it need be. Pretty much, you know, everything. He was saying that whenever he was asked about a player, saying that the option's there. He could change it if he needs to. However, he will assess it before tomorrow's game. Listen, in my opinion, I'd just keep Jean-Philippe Gbamin in there. I really, really will. I don't think he's done anything drastically wrong in the last 2 games. Obviously, he played the 90 minutes against Watford. He played, you know, the majority of the second, well, all of the second half and a little bit of the first half against Palace. Yeah, he's been caught on the ball a couple of times. Yes, he's been caught in possession. But like we've said, he's only going to get used to that. That is because he's not used to playing in this league. That's because he's not used to having, you know, very little time on the ball. He needs to understand that once he gets the ball, he's got to know where he's passing it straight away. Because unlike the Bundesliga, he hasn't got 5 to 10 minutes to sort of waltz around on the ball and decide where he's going to play it. But he will get that, he will understand that, he will learn that with time. He will understand that, right, okay, I need to know where this ball's going before I receive it, because I haven't got 10 to 15 seconds to look up, walk a little bit around, have a little look at where I can play it, and he will understand that, he will start to learn that. And like we said yesterday, for me, Jean-Philippe Gbamin is almost being forced to start Premier League games. He's almost being forced in there. We know Marco Silva wants to sort of slowly introduce the likes of Moise Kean, slowly introduce the likes of Alex Iwobi, but that hasn't been the case with Jean-Philippe Gbamin because of circumstance, because Morgan Schneiderlin was suspended, because Fabian Del's being out as well. So for me, there's now very little point bringing him out and trying to reintroduce him slowly, because he's already been introduced pretty fast to the Premier League. So I'd just keep him in there. I'd let him make the little mistakes. I'd let him improve. I'd let him learn, and I'd keep him in there now, because he's only going to get fitter playing more games. He's only going to get used to the Premier League playing more games. And like I said, there'd be very little point for me taking him out and trying to reintroduce him slowly again, because it just stunt the progress that he's already made in the last 2 games. So for me, Jean-Philippe Gbamin partners Andre Gomez. I also think that Gomez is improving his game as well. I think that he's learning a lot off Andre Gomez. I think that Gomez has been fantastic for the 90 against Watford, and then of course the first 40-45 minutes that he was on against Palace before he had to be subbed off. I've gone for Gylfi Sigurdsson in the 10. A lot of people were wondering whether Alex Iwobi would be fit. Marco Silva was speaking about Alex Iwobi today, and he said, listen, basically that he's working very, very hard. He didn't say he's ready. He said that he's there if he decides to take that option. But he's been working very, very hard. Obviously, he's only just joined. He's only had his first full week of training last week. He hasn't had much of a pre-season because of international duty as well. So, basically saying we probably won't see Alex Iwobi in the starting 11 tomorrow. Yes, Gylfi had a poor game against Crystal Palace. Yes, he was better against Watford, but again, he wasn't quite as creative. But saying that, Gylfi Sigurdsson put 2 really, really good balls into Richarlison on Saturday against Watford, and Richarlison screwed them. He put 2 headers over the bar, one which if he headed down it would have been a goal, and one where he was open and he should have done a lot better. And if he would have done a lot better, Gylfi Sigurdsson would have had 2 assists and would have been sitting here now saying, well, yeah, he had a poor game against Palace, but he got 2 assists against, Watford. So, that's an alright start. So again, I think it's about the way, we look at games of football. It's about, what we look at, and I think it's important to specifically look at that when you're talking about Gylfi Sigurdsson. I think he'll start again. I think with Gylfi, it's just a case of waiting now for him to properly settle into this season and to get, the ground running, and I think he will do that. Hopefully it's tomorrow night against Villa. He's got the potential to, like we said, be a game winner. He has at the end of the day. Look at the Leicester game last season away from home. One spark of magic by Gylfi Sigurdsson won us that game of football, and we've talked about, even today in today's team, we've talked about how it could take that just one bit of magic to win us this game tomorrow afternoon, and we know that tomorrow night, and we know that Gylfi Sigurdsson can provide that. So for me, Gylfi stays in the team. I've gone for the front three of Bernard, Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, I suppose one of the most noticeable pieces of information that Marco Silva said in his pre-game press conference was that Moise Kean is ready if he chooses. He said he's been working hard. He wants to obviously be starting Premier League games. They've been working on him and training for the entire week. He didn't quite say whether he believes he is fit and ready yet, or whether he believes he's fitting into the system properly, but he did say that he is ready if he chooses to. I don't think Marco Silva will go with Moise Kean personally tomorrow. If you do, let me know in the comment section down below. It'll be really, really interesting to hear what you guys have to say about that. I just think he'll continue to be introducing him slowly. He'll continue to bring him in sort of as and when, off the bench for the last 20-25 minutes, half an hour of a game of football. Hopefully by that time we've already won the game tomorrow. But yeah, like we spoke about him yesterday in yesterday's team, I just don't necessarily think he's ready yet. I don't think he quite understands the system yet, and I think another couple of weeks training, another couple of appearances off the bench will do him really, really good. They'll do his fitness good as well. Now, don't get me wrong, I haven't seen him in training all week. He's trained obviously all week. I definitely don't think he was fit enough to play in 90 minutes when he come on against Watford last week. But again, that's down to Marco Silva. That's Marco Silva's decision. And although I don't think Dominic Calvert-Lewin's as good away from home as he is at home, I definitely think his overall game tomorrow could really, really benefit us. I think that his ability to obviously take the ball down, his ability to use his strength, win the ball, and then give it off to the likes of Bernard and Richarlison, I think that could really, really benefit us tomorrow night. And I think that's why we'll see Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the starting 11. In terms of the wingers, obviously, Richarlison struggled a little bit over the last couple of games. That's understandable, obviously, with fitness. He's had a long summer, obviously, playing in the Copa America with Brazil, winning the Copa America with Brazil. I think we'll see Richarlison in the starting 11 tomorrow. I think he will be rested midweek against Lincoln City in the Carabao Cup. On the other wing, obviously, Bernard, absolutely fantastic performance again against Watford. Arguably man of the match. I think he did get man of the match in the end. An unbelievable goal as well. So no issues for me. And Bernard starting on the left, like we said. Marco Silva's spoken about Alex Iwobi today. He said he's been working hard, but he is still really new to the system. He's obviously the newest lad in the dressing room, and he's still getting used to, obviously, his team, getting used to the system, and starting to gain fitness as well, because obviously of the long pre-season he had with his international duty. So I personally think the team will remain like that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you disagree, give me your predicted starting 11s. Give me a reason as to why you disagree. If you agree with me, you know, why do you agree? Do you think that this is the starting 11 Marco Silva will go with? Are you happy with it? If you're not happy, let me know who you would change. So yeah, that's my predicted starting 11. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below on that one. Where are we? Can't think of an effing name. Says DCL hasn't scored in 10 games and only 6 last season. Sorry, but that's not acceptable for the top 7 striker. I agree. 100% needs to sort of get his goal scoring record improved. He really does. But it is still early on in the season, and like I said, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin plays tomorrow and he puts a couple in the back of the net, do we still sit here and say, you know, he shouldn't start games of football? I don't know, but I 100% agree, he does definitely need to improve his goal scoring record. Please do leave a like on today's team if you have enjoyed or you're enjoying so far, should I say. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button as well. Why not? Vinny says, Cam, the Mexico tan is well gone, mate, even with the Cameron on. Yeah, that's truly gone, mate. I didn't have that good of a tan, to be honest, to start with. Probably because I was using Factor 50, which is the safe option, but not very good for trying to get a tan. But yeah, 100%, mate. I've been back for nearly a month now. That's well and truly gone. I think that walked away after I stepped off the plane, if I'm being honest with you. Can't think of any names. That's just my opinion. Fair enough, 100%. We're all entitled to an opinion. This is what this channel's about. This is what these live streams about. Everybody having their own opinion. So 100%, fair enough, mate. Apollo says, there any news on Iwobi? Could he possibly come on tomorrow? I think he'll feature tomorrow. I do. I think he'll play some part in the game. I don't think he'll start, but I think he will come on. I think especially if we're struggling. And, you know, we need a little bit of dynamic attacking ability towards the back end of the game. I do think he will come on. However, I don't think he'll start the game. I don't. Apollo also says a little bit earlier on there. Sorry, I missed that one. Spot on, Malcolm. Decore in for Gylfi and switch to a 4-3-3. Maybe. We'll have to see if Marco Silva is still open on bringing Decore in January, which I assume he will be, because he come out and said he's desperate to bring him to the club. James Fitzsimmons says, do you think Richie should be dropped because of Saturday? Just couldn't get into the game, in my opinion. I think Richarlison's a very important player to the way we play. Very important player to our team. I think the reason he couldn't get into the game is because of fitness. I don't think he's fit whatsoever. I think he struggled on Saturday. I think he struggled against Crystal Palace as well. Obviously, he missed a couple of really key opportunities. I think he'll probably start tomorrow. Again, he'll probably play another 60-70 minutes, and then maybe he'll come off. Maybe he'll come off for Iwobi. Maybe he'll come off for Moise Kean. Who knows? I think the midweek game against Lincoln in the Cup is the game that he'll be given a little bit of a rest. He'll be given a little bit of time to recuperate. And, you know, obviously rest up before the next Premier League game against Wolves the weekend after. But I think he will start tomorrow. I do think he'll start. But 100% he couldn't get into the game. He's absolutely spot on. Can't think of an name. I think Davis should drop from the bench and bring Sidibe onto it. I think Sidibe will be on the bench. I don't think Sidibe and Baines will be on the bench because, again, 2 fullbacks being on the bench isn't the most sort of exciting thing, because you're very rarely going to need both fullbacks. But I do think we'll see Sidibe on the bench tomorrow. Vinny says, have we all forgotten that DCL led the line so well at the end of the season and we are looking to replace him already based on a cameo? Faith in Silva's decisions required. Price Omar away, Tosun stays. 100% spot on. Fantastic comment. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was unbelievable towards the back end of last season. Yes, he didn't score a lot of goals, and I understand that is the thing that we need. That is the thing that we want at the minute. But he was fantastic nevertheless. And, you know, you're 100% spot on. Let's have faith in what Silva decides. Let's have faith in Marco Silva's team. This is why I'm sitting here so positive and so sort of lackadaisical about these predicted starting 11s, because Marco Silva might decide to put out an 11 that looks similar to the one I predicted. He might go massively different, and if I sit there at 7 o'clock tomorrow night and I see that Moise Kean's in the starting 11, Iwobi's in the starting 11, Sidibe's in the starting 11, I'll go, you know what, it's bold, but I trust in Silva, because Marco Silva's gained that trust in me now. It's been 2 transfer windows. We had a decent season last season, a really good end to it. He's gained that trust in me, especially, as has Marcel Brands as well. So I trust every decision that Marco Silva makes, and I think that we all should do that. Hopefully, Dominic Calvert-Lewin comes good tomorrow. Hopefully, he puts the ball in the back of the net. But if not, trust in Silva's decision to decide when Moise Keane's fit and when he's ready to start playing consistent Premier League games. Ian says, loads of folks seem really keen to drop a few players. Yeah, listen, that's absolutely fair enough. Obviously, an opinion's an opinion, but what we have to understand is that we've had a decent start to the season. We've got 4 points out of a possible 6, and in the game that we drew, obviously, we spent the last 25 to 30 minutes with 10 men, so I think if we keep the same starting 11 again and we go out there from the start and we attack Villa from the start and we win this game of football tomorrow, then, you know, there's absolutely nothing to be disappointed about, is there? Toffee Talk says, Schneiderlin and Delph being out is a blessing in disguise. It will help Gbamin get up to speed quickly. It will help Gbamin get up to speed quickly. Obviously, Morgan's back tomorrow. If Marco Silva decides to make that decision, I hope he doesn't. Not necessarily because I don't rate Morgan or I don't think Morgan should play, but just because I think we need to keep Gbamin in there now. And we need to just sort of force him through the tough weeks, if you like, because he's already been forced in. So there's little point bringing him out and then slowly introducing him because he's already been introduced pretty quickly. Scott says, DCL is awful away from home. I'd rather play Tossen. Fair enough, fair enough. Apollo says, met Marcel and Seamus on Saturday. Great fellas. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic news. I'd love to meet Marcel Brands. I would. I'd love to sit down and have a conversation with Marcel Brands. I don't think we'd ever be able to get an interview with him because he's very, very secretive. He barely does interviews with Everton Football Club socials. But I just think it'd be absolutely unbelievable to sit down and have a conversation with him. So yeah, they're my initial thoughts on the game. Like we said, Marco Silva spoke very much about the team in his press conference. He said about the fact that Dean's fit, Awobi's working hard and could feature, however is probably not going to start. Baines is fit as well. Keane is ready if need be. I suppose that's probably the biggest bit of news other than Luca Dean fitness. And Sidibe's fit as well, and obviously he's got the decision to make in the midfield area as well with Morgan Schneiderlin and Jean-Philippe Gbamin. But yeah, listen, Silva also discussed the clean sheet record, of course. If we get a clean sheet tomorrow, that'll be, I think, the first time in over 100 years that we've taken 3 clean sheets from our first 3 games of the season, which is a record that Silva spoke about today, a record that he said he would look to beat, and, you know, it's something that they take really, really serious, and he's really, really proud to get that opportunity to beat it. But for me, listen, it's unbelievable that we've got 2 clean sheets. It's unbelievable that the defence has been absolutely fantastic. But as long as we win the game tomorrow, does it really matter if we concede? Let's be honest, we're not going to go the Premier League season without avoiding conceding. We're going to concede at some point. That's just realistic. If it means, you know, if you said to me, you take a point tomorrow but you don't concede, or you win the game but you win it 3-1 or 2-1, I'd 100% take the win. So it would be nice, obviously, to beat that record. It would be nice to get another clean sheet, but for me the most important thing is the 3 points tomorrow, and that's definitely what we should be going at. Like we said at the start of the team, it's not going to be an easy game. It will be a tough game. Villa, of course, will be looking to get the 3 points themselves. They've lost the first 2 Premier League games, obviously, back in the league after such a long time. They're going to be wanting to stay in the league, obviously. They've spent a lot of money in the summer, so they've got something to prove as well. So they're not going to be coming out, like I said, rolling over and letting us tickle their belly. They're going to be wanting to get the 3 points, and they're going to be coming out as strong as we are as well. So really, really important game for us tomorrow. Like I said, a game that for me we should be winning. There's no excuse for us to not win. On paper, I think we've got the better squad, we've got the better team, we've had the better start, we've got the momentum. We should be going there and we should be getting the 3 points, but I'll be absolutely ecstatic if we do get the 3 points tomorrow afternoon, because again, it's a massive, massive, massive 3 points for me. Malcolm says, keep this year 45, see how he gets on, and if he's no good, bring on Moise. Fair enough, maybe that's something Marco Silva will look at. Vinny says, should also be great to see Villa back in the Prem. This was a heavyweight tie back in the day. Exactly, spot on, and it will be, and I'll talk about that for a second, because, listen, Villa for me are a big club. They're a big... People talk about Chelsea, City. They're not big clubs. City, you've got the opportunity to win a big club if they carry on going as they are. Chelsea aren't a big club. Newcastle aren't a big club. Aston Villa are a big club. Leeds are a big club. These are the teams that should be in the Premier League, and it's absolutely fantastic to see Aston Villa back in this Premier League. This is a classic Premier League fixture. Everton versus Aston Villa. It's a fantastic ground to go to. Obviously, they've renovated it as well, so it'll be a fantastic away day. Unfortunately, I can't make it myself, but it'll be brilliant for all the fans travelling, and again, they've got that respect. They know that they're a big club. They know they're a Premier League club, so they're not going to be thinking, well, we're just riding the wave. We're just hoping that we can get as many points as possible. They're going to be coming out from the start thinking we need to win this game of football, and that's why we need to match that, and we need to go out and give it 110%, because if we give it 110% and Villa do, I think we have got the advantage, and I think we win the game of football. But if Villa give it 100% and we don't, they could easily get the 3 points as well. So that's why it's massively important for me that we respect the opponent tomorrow and we go out and get the 3 points. But yeah, please do leave a like on the stream if you have enjoyed. Apollo says Moyes looked exciting on Saturday, looked but a bit rushed with his decision making. Yeah, I think he was. I think that's a fantastic way to describe him. I think he was exciting but a little bit erratic at times as well. And I think, you know, it's only going to take time as his fitness gains. He'll also gain and obviously learning the system and getting used to how we play as well. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's team. A massive thank you to everybody for watching. If you've watched live, if you've been involved in the live comments, once again, a massive thank you to everybody. Please do hit the like button if you have enjoyed it. It means a massive amount to me. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for the instant match reaction. Of course, after the game, I'll be giving you my instant thoughts. Hopefully, it's a positive one. Hopefully, it's another 3 points. I'll also be doing another video tomorrow. Our third kit is due to be revealed and released tomorrow at some point. So I'll be doing a reveal video for that one. Just a couple of minutes discussing my opinions and my thoughts on the third kit, so don't forget to look out for that one as well. But more importantly, we've got a game of football tomorrow that we need to go out, we need to get the 3 points, and we need to continue this decent start to the season. Obviously, I'll be live on Monday, 6:15 for the full game review, so don't forget to join us then as well. But watch out on the channel for the content tomorrow. Watch out for the reveal of the new third kit, and obviously for the instant match reaction to the Villa game. Really tough game of football, but a game that we should be winning, a game that we need to be winning, and a game that, you know, on paper we should be going out there and getting the 3 points, so let's hope that we do. Ian says, come on you Blues. Yes, come on you Blues indeed. Thank you all very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll be going through them and replying to those all night as well. If you're watching live, a massive thank you for getting involved and taking time out of your day to come and watch. Please do hit the like button if you have enjoyed today's stream. Don't forget to join us again tomorrow for the instant match reaction and the reveal of the third kit as well. Thank you all very much for watching. Up the Blues. Hopefully it's another 3 points and it's another decent start to the season. We can be sitting here going 7 points out of a possible 9, an away win, a home win, and hopefully another clean sheet. Happy days. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.